Good morning, afternoon and evening, my crazies. My name's Angela. I'm the Crazy Poppy Lady and welcome back to another Stitch a Week. Today's stitch is the far stitch. So come on, let's go and start this one. So for today's stitch you are going to need your 4mm hook and some DK weight yarn, or of course the yarn and hook combination that you are working with. Okay, so this stitch can be done in lots of different weight yarns and lots of different hook sizes. So let's move that out the way and let's get to it. So the chain count for this one is in multiples of 2 plus 1. If you are joining in on the Stitch a Week, my chain count was a 26 plus 1. I suggest you add a couple of extras, and then of course on your return leg on your second row you can rip back any that you don't need. Okay, so let's get going. I'm only going to do a short sample with you today, so you may wish to pause now and then jump back to the video once you of course have the chain length that you need. Okay, so now it's time for row number 1. We are picking up loops on this row, okay, so we're not doing full stitches until the end. So if you watch this first little bit and then you quite easily get it right. So we are going to skip that first chain and into the second chain from our little hook we're going to pick up a loop, okay, just like that, and then we are going to do another one in the next chain, and then our third and final one into the third chain from the hook, fourth chain from the hook, sorry. So now you're going to have 4 loops on your hook. At this point you're going to hook over, pull through all 4 loops on your hook, and then we're going to slip stitch 1. Right, so this next combination is how we are going to do the whole stitch all the way along. You are going to pop your hook into that last worked stitch and pull up a loop. Then we're going to pull up a loop in the next 2 stitches. So in total you will have 4 loops on your hook. Okay, now hook over and pull through all 4 loops on your hook and do a slip stitch to close it off. So I'll show you that one again. Pop your hook through the last worked stitch, pull up a loop, and then pull up a loop over the next 2 stitches. 4 loops on your hook, hook over, pull through all 4, hook over, slip stitch, and that is it all the way along. Now when you get to the end you should have 2 stitches remaining. Okay, so now we are at the end of the row. So I should explain the 2 stitches I meant with the first two pull up loops. Okay, so you're going to pop your hook in as you would normally do in the base of that last unworked stitch, and then we are going to pull up a loop in that very last one. Now this is the only time that we're going to do this, so the next row is our repeat row, okay, and then we're going to pull through as a half double crochet. Okay, now we chain 2 and turn our work. Okay, so now we are going to be working our first repeat row. The steps on this are exactly the same with every single row. We are going to look at the top of our work here. We are going to count down 2 chains and we are going to pop our hook underneath the V. Okay, and pull up a loop. Then we are going to pull up a loop in the next 2 stitches, making sure of course that you catch both parts of the V. Then we're going to hook over and pull through all 4 loops on your hook. And then do a slip stitch. Then we're going to go and back down to that last unworked stitch, pop our hook through and pull up our first loop of our next stitch. And then into the next stitch, pull up a loop, and the third and final, pull up a loop. 4 loops on your hook, hook over and pull through, and then we finish off with a slip stitch. And you're going to do that all the way until you get to the end. Can be a little bit awkward in places, especially if you've pulled your slip stitch too tight. So make sure you keep your stitch work loose. And we'll keep going until you get to the last stitches. Meet me back here in a few moments. Right, so and now we are on to that very last stitch. Now let's make sure I've got this in frame so you can all see it quite nicely. Now we have got our last worked stitch that we're going to pop our hook through. Then we have our last stitch in the row, pop your hook through. Now what you're going to do is you're going to skip down a little bit and you'll see this side bump. You're going to pop your hook through the side bump and pull up a loop. Okay, now make sure that that loop is the same height as the rest on your hook. Then hook over and pull through all 4 loops. Now the reason for doing this is it gives you a beautifully nice straight edge. Now we're going to hook over and we are going to chain 2 and then turn our work. Okay, now we are just going to repeat the previous row. So I'm going to do that one again with you. Hey, I might as well, this video is going to be nice and short anyway. So we pick up a loop going into the second chain from the hook and then work our way along, picking up our loops. Okay, so the only things you really need to remember with this pattern where it changes is the very first set of pickups for your first stitch, and of course are working into that side bump on your very last row. But other than that, it's a really nice simple stitch to work, and as you can see it is a very effective. It gives you a nice thick material to work with, and it's very sturdy as well. Okay, so and now at the end of the row for this, so we do the bottom stitch, run the chain section, and then of course our side bump. making sure to pull up that stitch so it's the same height as the rest. And then it's time to start the row again with our chain 2 and work all the way along. Okay, so that is the end of the sample section today, and showing you how to do the stitch. As you can see, it's quite nice and easy to count because each row raises or dips depending on whether you're working the right side or the wrong side of your fabric. Now for my Stitch a Week crazies, there will be extra information in the description box down below saying how many rows and things you need. But as a quick guide, that's my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. I have done 20 rows. Okay, yours of course may be different because of your individual tensions or the yarn and hook combination that you've chosen. So make sure that you've got one of your previous squares as a nice flat one, so that you can use it to measure up against. Okay, right, that is it for me for today. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I will see you all again next week. Ta-ra for now, everybody.